Hello, and welcome to A Place to Call Home. It's our weekly show where we talk about everything. This week's topic is the 2016 Lifetime Achievement Awards banquet uh, in put on by the Democratic Party. And my very special guest, live in studio with me, is my friend Teresa Roloff, and a very special guest live with us today is Mr. Ludwig. Let me get this right. Galopter.
Perfect.
Mr. Galopter is here in our area, and I've been hearing some very, very interesting things about you, sir. Just wanted to have the conversation. But Teresa, let's start with the banquet.
Okay.
When is it going to be this year?
It is going to be on a Thursday, as usual, on September the 22nd. It's going to be at the usual time. The doors will open at 6 o'clock. The program starts at 7. We've got the tickets on sale. They can be accessed through Facebook and Eventbrite, which Facebook is another, level. We didn't do that before. And the tickets are on sale right now for $50. And it's the early bird price. So we're encouraging everybody to go ahead and get your tickets now because they're $50. And they'll go up a whopping 5.
It's normally a wonderful event. I've
It
been
is.
a part of the event for years and years and years.
Mm-hmm.
Was an honoree at one point,
Yes.
and we have some very, very special people that we're honoring this year as well.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
And it is the season of politics, and I'm saying go Democrats. Kind of partial there, Mr. Ludwig. So you have to pardon me. But anyway, it's good to know that you're a longtime Democrat as well.
That's right. Since I registered to vote, I've been a Democrat.
And now you come to us by way of New Orleans and Katrina, but you were born in Poland?
Well, it's a little bit complicated. Actually, I was born in Austria,
In Austria?
but that's because in those days, the best doctors were in Vienna. And so a few weeks before I was due, my mother got on a train. They didn't have airplanes in those days, or at least not passenger airplanes. And she took the train to Vienna, and I was born in Vienna, and a couple of weeks later, she took a train back to Poland.
Really?
Yeah.
And I also have learned that you are a Holocaust survivor.
That's true, yes.
That is so interesting. I told you I just read a work all about the Holocaust. Horrific. And I am glad to welcome you to our little corner of the world, especially in that you're a longtime Democrat and you're going to be helping us with some things. And of course, that means getting the vote out. That is very, very important to me. And I want you to know that we are getting ready for our big convention in Philadelphia. And Teresa, you're headed that way?
I am headed there. By the time everybody's watching this show,
Right.
I will be there.
Be there.
I will be attending a lot of presentations. I will be meeting with different people. I will be following the program closely and making sure that I'm not absent for anything. Although I do hope to get a little bit of, extra thing. I want to go to the Library of Congress and see that. And having sort of a garden background, I heard that Longwood Gardens was developed by DuPont and that's a beautiful place to see. So,
Well,
all that.
Here's my question to you both. With the RNC convention going on right now, what do you think?
Well, I think it's going to be tougher than we think, because I think Trump has an approach which is very unusual and which resonates with a lot of people, and I think we have a job ahead of us.
We've got some work to do.
Yeah, absolutely.
We certainly have some work to do.
There's too many people who sat back on their hands in years before, and this is not the year to do it if you want to, make your voice heard and your with the other party, with our party.
Right.
So if you're, if you do not want Trump, you need to be at the polls. And, if you do, I hope you stay at home.
We're talking about the Lifetime Achievement Awards banquet that is up and coming right here in the city of Lafayette. It's a big event put on by local Democrats, and we have some very special honorees.
We do. We are having, as in past years, we're going to recognize two very outstanding individuals for the Lifetime Achievement Award. Dr. Barranco, who was with the school board for many years, practicing dentist. He's retired now. He will be one of our honorees. And then posthumously, we're honoring Jeffrey Bunny Landry.
My friend.
I've heard was friends with everybody. But locally, he was the head of the Postal Workers Union, and we've been in touch with the national Postal Workers Union. Said, hey, we've got one of yours, and he's up for an award. I think that y'all might find that interesting.
And a true Democrat.
Yes.
To his heart.
Yes.
We lost a good one when we lost Bunny Landry, and I understand that his friend, Wallace Senegal.
Yes. He will be a big part of that. I believe he will be talking about Bunny, and then Bunny's daughter will actually accept the award. Yes, Brandy. So that'll be really nice.
Wonderful. And we also have the Outstanding Educator Award.
Yes, I hear she's a fireball, Patricia Colbert-Cormier. And that she is our honoree, and that our Outstanding Democrat is certainly outspoken is Mike Stagg. And then the Kathleen Blanco Excellence in Leadership Award will be given by Governor Blanco again this year to Bambi Polizzola, who works in the governor's office, and she's a huge advocate for those with disabilities. She's in that area for the state, and she's also been a leader through the DPEC in her own district.
From St. Landry Parish.
And a lovely young lady,
Wonderful. I like Bambi. And of course, we're going to have a wonderful guest speaker that night. We won't tell you who that is right now, but we're going to have a wonderful guest speaker that night. And so we're urging everybody to come out and support the local Democratic Party. And we've got some work to do.
Yes.
And diversity is our strength. I
Always
see
has
that.
been.
That is your theme. And when I looked at the RNC, I kept looking and I kept looking.
I know.
And I kept looking for the diversity.
They call that monotone?
In the crowd. And I read the article early this morning about the African American woman, the one and only African American woman that was there. And she said, please tell them to keep the camera off of me. She said every time something's said or every time a speaker is introduced, they pan the camera over to me. She said, I really didn't want my family to know, my church, or my friends to know that I was even here.
Oh my
They're going
goodness.
to all call me a traitor.
Oh, goodness.
But I am here. And she said, actually, the article said, look, I have something in my nose that I want to pick. And because the camera's on me so much, I can't do it.
Oh, my God.
So she said, please tell them to keep the camera off of me.
Aw.
But I kept looking for the diversity in that crowd. And that, to me, is what builds a great nation.
Well, it certainly is not to have all of anything. It's not a reflection of the America that we know.
Well,
You know.
I'm just wondering, what do you think, Mr. New Yorker? What did
well,
you think of Giuliani the other night?
I think he was more lively and activated than I've ever seen him before, even though a lot of the stuff that he was spewing forth was nonsense. But he sure was agitated. I think he's going to probably make another run for president in 2020.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's becoming active again. So
That's interesting.
But you know, when you're speaking about diversity, at least in terms of looking at people, and these days, you know, it's funny because years ago, when I was on the streets of New York registering people to vote, you could look at somebody and you could see, well, if this young fellow has a beard, that means he's a liberal progressive, and if that guy is Asian, he's probably conservative and doesn't speak English too well. And now the second and third generation of those people are around, and most of them speak better English than I do, and you really can't judge by appearances anymore. But having said that, I don't recall seeing any Asian faces at that convention.
Me neither, and not many Hispanic
That's right.
faces either.
Yeah.
You know, I kept looking, I kept searching to find the diversity, and that is why I think that I'm a Democrat. I think that is a big part and a big reason that I am a Democrat. And a Democrat, I live, and Democrat I'll die. Because that, I mean, when I was young, you know, most of the time it happens for a lot of people because your parents are, or because they registered you that way, that's what you were. But I took a look at the message from both parties, and I keep hearing the messages from both parties. So now, you know, it just, you know, one message speaks to me louder than the other.
The ideology is like very, very, you know.
Yeah, like left and right.
Yeah.
like certainly left and right. But we are expecting a wonderful Lifetime Achievement Awards banquet. And again, it's going to be on the 22nd, September 22nd. The doors will open at 6. And then the event takes place at 7 at the Ramada Lafayette Conference Center. It's been there for a number of years.
It has been. I think possibly even from the beginning. It's been it'll be the 9th year.
Okay.
Let me share a little bit about the tickets too.
Okay.
Because for those people who might have special diets, we ran into, well, we actually provided special diets last year, and we're going to do that again because it has actually brought a lot of commentary from and feedback from the banquet that it's so nice to be able to eat the food that's being served. So we'll have that option again. I mean, we have the regular tickets at the top, but below that there's an early bird special diet ticket too. So if you have friends that that are needing that, please take advantage of that. It will give us an idea of how many of them to prepare, and we help the hotel to make sure that we're all set and that you'll be set also and leave there happy.
Okay, so there will be vegan meals?
Yes.
Vegan and what did I was going to ask?
Well,
what does that mean?
Gluten-free, lactose intolerant, and vegetarian, pescatarian. You know, let us know. I think there's a space where you can contact the organizer.
Okay.
Go ahead and write what it is that you need, and we're going to work it out to where you get it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Because a lot of those meals go uneaten.
Yes, they do.
They do. People just, can't eat it. And we want everybody to come, everybody to have a great time. The musician for the evening will be my friend, Mr. J.B. Sachs, my son. And he's going to be there. And he's a wonderful, wonderful jazz musician, plays that saxophone mighty, mighty well. But then we have a Deepak breakfast as well. When's that going to be?
That's going to actually be Tuesday of the week that this is. So if you're watching Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday, it's already happened. But the DPEC decided we needed sort of a platform throughout the year to kind of let people know what's going on from the progressive side. And we've had some great speakers. We've had Sarah Ritchie, who's talked about Moms Demand Gun Sense in America. We had Glenn Armentor talk about Citizens United. That's kind of interesting. We had Ed Bowie talk about AOC and all the benefits that we have available here at AOC. We are going to have Larry Rader coming up this Tuesday, the 26th of September. And it's at 7 o'clock in the morning. Now that seems early, but this is close to downtown, and we figure we want to give people who are going to work an opportunity to spend a little time to hear
Have a
something
cup of
before they go to
coffee.
work. Free coffee, and they have some little biscuits. If they run out, they run out.
Beignets. Have you been there?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's good, and you can eat breakfast. We encourage people to go ahead and patron the place too. But you can just go and have coffee, and the biscuits are about that big. But also some very good presentation. And this man is running for United States Congress. At this point, I don't think there's many Democrats running. If he might even be the only one, I'm not sure.
I don't know. In that
there
district.
There might be another. It's the 3rd congressional district. It includes Lafayette and St. Mary all the way to Lake Charles, and they went through the borders and everything. Just announced on the 21st at the Lafayette Parish Courthouse, and the things that he said were very interesting. I think they'll please a lot of people. He seems very, very well qualified, and he is qualified.
All
So
right.
Mhm.
And we'll take a look at some upcoming races. Not a lot on the local ballot, I don't think.
No, well,
so
it's
far.
I think there's some judge positions that are going to be voted for, the Senate, the Congress. These are the national, and the president.
And
This
of course
is
the president.
It's a big
Now, when
election.
people, in years past, when it is a presidential election year, we have had a bigger turnout. We are hoping that stays consistent with what we've done through the years, and people will get out
Yes.
and vote,
Yes.
cast your vote.
Yes, and we have early voting too. So if you
Right.
don't know the dates, you can always call the registrar's office, or you can go by. You can go by 1010 Lafayette. You can pick up a voter registration card there. If you're interested in pushing, get out the vote and getting people registered,
Or you can call me. I
you
got
can-
them in my car.
Yeah, you can set up to do a voter registration. You go and you register yourself, and you bring the cards. You get all the stuff that you need, and they won't be able to vote in this election. It's too late. But there's never any end to.
And there might be
getting-
runoffs.
Yeah, I mean, but there are timelines.
Right.
But we should never quit registering people to vote who are not registered.
Right. So, with all the things, with all the race relations happening in the country today, I know that you have some wisdom, young man. And I wanted to ask you your thoughts about that.
Well, I think it's a difficult issue, and I have to tell you, I think that it is as much a race problem as it is a class problem, an economic problem. And I think we need to address the issue of education and jobs as much more than anything else.
More than ever lately, I've heard the Democrats are the reason that, the country stays stuck.
Mm. Well, I have to tell you, one of the things that I learned a long time ago is if you repeat a lie often enough, it becomes the truth. And I think that one of the challenges that we're facing this year is that we're going to have competition on the Republican side from some very sophisticated people who are going to create advertisements and promotions and
Of course.
campaign based on lies and inaccuracies, some of which they were discussing this last week. But unless we're able to present our message in a constructive way, the lie will become the truth.
Well, I am hoping again that we stand united in Philadelphia this week, that we'll see a whole different picture than what's going on right now, that what we're seeing right now, and that we'll be victorious in the end. And I don't know, it's just I've seen quite a few presidential elections. I'm not as youthful as you, but I've seen quite a few presidential elections, and this one, it just amazes me. It amazes me, and I'm a person in media, and I was just thinking, they keep giving me ammunition. They keep giving me ammunition. I said the other night, thank you, Michelle Obama. Thank you for that speech you did in 2008. I was so proud of my First Lady, I didn't know what to do. And it always just, I don't know, it just angers me that they will not give my president credit for anything. They just cast him off. He's done nothing. He's the worst president that we've ever seen. And,
Well, those are some of the lies
right.
that I'm
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about.
And
He's
I
accomplished
think
a lot.
that it'll be a whole different story when they write the history books.
Mm-hmm.
I
I'm
really
sure.
believe that it'll be a whole different story.
Yes.
The things that he's come against and been able to accomplish, it's just,
Amazing.
yes.
Amazing.
But Portia, one of the things that I don't think we can emphasize enough is what you said earlier about the voter turnout. I remember, in the 60s, we had a turnout of 70-some-odd%
Yeah.
in the country. And it's gone down to the low 60s and even below that. And I think this is a very important election that's coming up.
We hear that all the time
And,
during presidential elections. We heard that in 8. We heard it again in 12. But I think that a lot of people, can't count people out this time around. I think that they're going to get engaged and involved. I really do. I just stand on faith.
And they'll have to try harder too, because
Right.
not outside of our state, there's been some obstacles put in place, and you need to just bear down and go through it and get out there and make sure it happens.
Right, and ignore the rhetoric, folks. Ignore it. The Lifetime Achievement Awards Banquet, that's going to be September 22nd, Thursday, September 22nd, at the Ramada Lafayette Conference Center. Thank you both for being my guests today, and we
pleasure.
wish you all the best. You can always come back and use this outlet for whatever you want. Thank you.
Great.
It is going to wrap up our show for today. It's been a good one. Y'all come back and join us next week for something else. In the meantime, I'm Portia Evans for A Place to Call Home. You be blessed, and bye-bye.